I kind of write from like an unconscious place where I'm not thinking like, what should a character say here to this guy to elicit this response? I just hear the voices in my head, and it just comes out naturally. And so that's kind of how I work. I don't write in script software, I write in emails because I kind of want to not think of it as a movie. In 2008, my wife and I went to all the places that we go to in the movie, including like that house at the end, which is my actual family's house. So we were trying to find this place for a while, and it was like kind of hard to get to. And when I went back to New York, I wrote a play that took place in Poland. I played a character named David, who was sneaking weed into my Holocaust surviving cousin's apartment. And, so I was thinking a lot about kind of the themes that are in this movie. My character was this kind of like obnoxious, privileged young guy and was going to see his cousin, and her life was, of course, this like harrowing, miserable thing, and he was trying to kind of figure out like why he's such an asshole, basically. And then a few years later, I wrote a play called The Spoils, and I played a character named Benji, who's this little similar to this. And then I took those two characters and 2018, I took those two characters, I put them in a short story that I wrote about these two guys who are going to Mongolia. And I made it like maybe 25 pages into it. They had landed in Mongolia, and I could see there was no like second act. I had a great ending of like what happens when they're there, but I had no like body of the movie. And I also love the idea of shooting in Mongolia and shooting this kind of road trip thing. And so I liked that, but the second act wasn't there. And then I saw an ad on the internet for Holocaust tours with lunch. It said Auschwitz tours with lunch. And so I clicked on this ad, and I realized that's the movie. I could take these two guys that I had written in various things and set it on a Holocaust tour, and it would be just so much richer and more interesting and funnier too, because you can kind of make a weird comment about their privilege versus their ancestors', trauma, to try to make a comment on kind of modern pain. I was listening to Chopin, and then I started writing the scenes to the music, and it helped me pace the scenes. It kind of, I could speak specifically because we're filmmakers in this room, and so when you're writing a scene, there's nothing visceral or fun about it. It's just words on a page. But since I had music to it, it felt like, oh, this is visceral. There's a mood here, there's some feeling here, there's emotion here that are not just words on a page. So I just started putting the songs that I wanted to play in the scenes, and suddenly it just kind of gave it some life. And so when people would read the script, they would play the music, if they were so inclined. I can't imagine that a lot of people did that, but my producers, when they got the script, they would play the music, and it gave them a feeling of it. And then when we were on set, it gave the actors a feeling. I said, this is the song that's going to be playing over. So however this inspires you, it's the music is a little maybe more fun, a little more jaunty. Feel that in your presence, because that's what it's going to be like. I loved working with him so much, and I would give anything to work with people like him for the rest of my life. But it's a bit of a learning curve, because you're trying to figure out how is this person working. And then as an actor working with him, there was another weird thing, which is that when you're acting in something, or at least when I act in something, you start to take on the relationship of the characters off screen. And so in this movie, he's making fun of me the whole time, and he's mocking me, and he's grabbing me, and sorry, what the? And he's and it's and he would just do that in between the scenes. He'd be like, that's a stupid shot. He'd walk past me while I'm setting up a shot. He was like, yep, that's pretentious. Oh, are you doing a close-up on your face again? Cool. And so and it was just our characters. And so that was kind of frustrating. I wonder if the roles were reversed, if he would have been nicer, but he was playing a character that was just mocking me the whole time, and he did. Still to this day, he wins a Golden Globe Award, and he's like, hey, you want to touch it? Just kidding. And I'm I wrote that fucking part for you to get that award, and he still makes fun of me like I'm an idiot, I could have fired him. That's how much, that's how much power I had over him, and he just was relentless. But he was so great. If he was terrible, you'd try to figure out what to do, but he was so good. I never watched good movies because I always felt like I wanted to make a movie, and I felt like I couldn't really watch good movies until I made one, because I felt competitive or something, some bad, petty feeling that's inside me. And I don't know, it's not a good quality, it's a bad quality, but for whatever reason, that's what I was driven by. And so I think this is my version of very commercial movie. But I recognize that it's not now, because I'm reading things about it, and I recognize that no one wanted to invest in it. So But to me, this is like as commercial as it gets. Like, what? Yeah, it's about two guys. They're speaking English together. Like, one guy does this and the other guy looks like this. Like, it seems to me so commercial. Only in retrospect do I realize, oh, okay, I guess it is unusual, or the tone is a little unusual. But to me, this is normal and real life. But maybe that's because my finger's off the pulse of movies. But I'm not saying don't watch movies. It's important to watch movies. My weird thing was that like I would be on set all the time, so I'd understand how they're made because I'm on like sets of movies my whole life. But like just watching them, I wasn't watching like the finished products. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, but I don't give that as advice at all. You should watch movies. It's a medium that should be explored and, you know, obviously. But that was my weird life. Yeah.